Obvious that there's a difference in the weight of these bikes. If you notice, you can hear on this one that the tubing it sounds different. It's hollow, but it's a thin tubing and it's aluminum. These are also aluminum, but they're just a little bit thicker aluminum. This one is steel. This one here, it's aluminum. And with the aluminum, you're going to get a lighter weight. You get structurally, it's strong, but it's also it provides the user. I mean, it's physically lighter weight than this bike. We also didn't put a kickstand on this because people that buy higher quality bikes for mountain biking, they don't use kickstands because it adds too much weight to the bike. People will spend thousands of dollars on mountain bikes just to get a lighter bike, right? This one also has calipers, like we talked about before, or excuse me, not calipers, but disc brakes. And you'll notice the disc is a little bit different. This is a higher quality disc brake. It's a Traco model. The shocks on this are different. Let's talk about shocks for a minute. We'll start down here. The shocks on this bike, they're adjustable, where this one doesn't have shocks. So you know, it's no shocks. It has the calipers, different components on the shifters. So this one has it's a little adjustable here, but the compression is important depending on how far they call this travel. When I push down, how far is the travel from here to here? Okay, this one is not adjustable as far as the travel, where this one here you can make adjustments to it. These knobs here, you can lock the brake so that it doesn't compress, or you can adjust the brake so it compresses more or less. So as you push on this, you can adjust that flex, okay? And that's called compression. Now some bikes will have a shock in the back. These bikes don't have that. I don't see any here that do. Some people like a dual shock bike, but they start at about $1,000 US and go up from there. So they're quite expensive. I have a mountain bike and I don't have a rear shock on mine. I prefer not to have one because when you're climbing or when you're going up a hill, as you pedal and you're pushing, when you pedal, notice this bike flexes as I pedal, as I put pressure on it. That's called inertia. And if I'm doing that uphill, that back shock is reducing the amount of force that I'm putting into the climb. And so it's effective for when you're going over bumps, but if I'm trying to climb, it's not very good to have a shock in the back. Okay?
So this one's more of a climber because it doesn't have shock.
Yes, you could say that in the fact that it doesn't have a shock. You could say, well, it might be better for climbing or going up hills. This is more of a trail riding bike, where these two with shocks in the front, you could use them more for mountain biking. Okay, the tires. Let's see. We talked about some other features yesterday.
You can show them how to take the front tire off. That might be
yeah.
Cool.
So both of these bikes have a quick release. Let's say you get a flat tire and you need to take that tire off. All you have to do is pull this right here, this lever, loosen it, undo the screw here, the nut. You don't take it out all the way, and then you just pull this off like that. Okay, so that will just it's called quick release. When you put it back in, you just make sure that it lines up properly with the brake. It has to slide right in there, like that. Tighten it back up, and then squeeze that.
A lot
like
easier
that.
than the back one to take off.
Yeah, the back one does. It comes off the same way, but you still have to deal with the derailleur here. Okay.
And then adjust it, fix it back.
What's another thing that's important on mountain bikes? Tires, okay. So these tires all have a tube inside the tire, and they're made to withstand all the bumps and rocks that you go over, but they're also soft enough that it provides a nice cushy ride. Some people will install. There's a solution you can put inside a tire, that will prevent it from going flat. We don't sell it like that, but we do. They all do come with a tube in it. I just want to show you a little bit of the difference between the reason why this one is priced at I don't know what the price is on this one, $5.99, and this one is what? $12.99. So almost double the price. Why do you think there's so much difference? The makeup of it. That's what I was going to get at. The main difference in bikes a lot of times is the frame, quality of the frame. This one's much different than this one, but also what they call the components. The components, there's three areas of the components. You have the shifters here. You have the brakes, shifters and the brakes. You have the gear changer here, and you have what they call the derailleur. You guys call it something else. Simplex? You have the simplex in the back. Is that what we call it? Simplex? Okay. So, the plex or the simplex?
Simplex.
Simplex. Okay, so the simplex is what's important. If there's a real difference in the quality level of the simplex. So this is an entry level. It's actually Shimano is one of the best in the world for component parts. And all of these have Shimano. That one I think has a little bit lower grade than Shimano. This one was Shimano here, this is Shimano here. But there's a different level of Shimano components. So this one is called the Tour, let's see, this one is the SIS Shimano. This one here is called the Altus Shimano. Altus is probably their, they have like 7 different levels. Altus is like the 4th up from the bottom. There's 3 more above that. SIS is probably number 2 from the entry level. So it's a really good quality component, but it's less expensive. And that's what we wanted on this bike. We wanted a bike that was less expensive but had all of the features of a mountain bike. The shifting lever at the front is much different too. You can notice this has a thumb shifter at the top, and it has a 1 through 7 on this side. So you can see as you rotate that, you can see it will what gear you're in. To reduce it, you just push that button and it reduces from 1 to 7 back down to 1. Here you have adjustments here where you can push these here from 1 to 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then you can pull this trigger and it drops you back down to 1. Okay, these are called trigger shifters, and they're very popular. I really like the trigger shift. It's just much easier to use. They have a grip shifter like on this one, which is also nice. Go ahead and hold that. Grip shift, very simple. You just turn the knob here, and it shifts as you go. So, important components. These are all. These 2 are 21 speed. This one is that's an 18 speed. So 21 speed, 18 speed. These are made for trail riding, for any kind of riding out on pavement. This one is made for mountain biking. You'll notice there's a little difference in the wheel size. Does that tire look a little bit taller than this one? This is a 26-inch tire. This is a 29-inch tire. This is a newer, the 29-inch is becoming more and more popular for trail riding because with a larger tire like that, you roll over rocks and stumps and twigs and things much easier, and it's less difficult to get you going faster. And at faster speeds, you can handle faster speeds better with a larger tire. Okay, any questions about bikes?